Hey there everybody, I'm Alamantus, and I would like to show you the modified redstone item elevator. Now, this design actually uses hoppers. Originally, the most recent item elevators have been using solid blocks and dispensers, or actually solid blocks and droppers. You would have a huge, gigantic cube, basically, of solid blocks, and you'd have a dispenser dispensing, or a dropper even, dispensing into the blocks, and that would send the items through the blocks and make its way up to the top. This takes advantage of a little glitch in the game. Well, maybe not a glitch. It takes advantage of the physics of the game, which says that items can't be stuck inside of solid blocks. Fairly brilliant, but it has problems because items can spill out all over the place if you're not careful. This design using droppers was, to my knowledge, designed by a YouTube user named AC Tennis AC, and it's pretty brilliant. His original design used the redstone comparator bug, where if it was powered, it would constantly update the block that it was next to. Now that was really cool, and it made for some pretty awesome dispenser machine guns. Unfortunately, that bug has been fixed as of, well, a couple weeks ago. But I'm using Snapshot 13W09B, and I've found something that works. Now, I've gone through a couple of iterations of designs, and this one is the most compact. It is a total of 5 by 2 blocks, and that is pretty dang awesome, if you ask me, excluding the inputs for the hoppers, if you want. Anyway, allow me to demonstrate. So, we have a long, hard day of gathering lily pads, right? You take your lily pads and you just drop them in the hopper. They make their way to this dropper. And you're like, oh man, my storage is all the way up here. I don't want to go all the way up the stairs. Good thing I built this item elevator. So you flip the switch, and you hear a couple of clicks at the beginning, and then it goes silent. But then you hear the clicks again. And then when you look up in your chest later, all of your lily pads are there. Now, how is this done? Well, originally I was using a 1 clock, which uses redstone repeaters like this, and they're like that, and then you give it a 1-tick pulse, and then it goes like that indefinitely. And I had set up a little toggle for it, but it was huge and bulky. But my friend Cypress showed me this. If you have a comparator and you set it to subtraction mode, then you can set its output, and then from the output, make a redstone line back into itself. And then if you provide it power, it does the same thing as that 1-tick clock. Because it is sending a fully powered thing, it's losing 1, and it's subtracting that 1 less from what it originally had, which is making it click, like tick on and off continually. Using this, you can set this stack of droppers to update constantly. Now, to do this, first you have to make your stack of droppers. Now, be aware that the height of this is limited to the distance of that redstone can travel. Once you reach that distance, it'll stop working, and you'll have to, continue a signal out and go around and lengthen it with another repeater. But that's only if you're getting up higher than 10 blocks, or how far does redstone go? I think it's 15 blocks. So yeah, I think 10. 10 is probably the max without having to lengthen the pulse. Which, in all honesty, is probably fine. You probably aren't going that far down for your storage and stuff. And you can feed your hoppers. If you have a huge surplus of iron, you can make some pretty cool hopper systems and have it go all over your base, wherever you're going. At the end of this tutorial, I'd like to show just an example of what you can do with it. I'm going to build an automated farm, a fully automated farm. All you have to do is flick a button and it collects all your stuff and sticks it in a chest. It's pretty great. Now, let's get started. So to do this, you have to put a bunch of hoppers on top of each other. And in order to do that, you have to hold shift and jump so that you can place the droppers on top of each other rather than going into the inventory. That shift click comes in handy. Next, what you want to do is, well, you want to put a solid block or any block on every other dropper. Again, it's kind of tricky because you have to hold shift to place blocks on top of them. Next, if you're next to a wall, this doesn't really matter, but I am clearly not next to a wall, so I'm going to build this way. And then you take your half slabs, and make sure that you put them on the top half of the block, going in a step pattern this way. This is a cool thing about redstone. You can make redstone signals travel upward by staggering these half slabs, any half slabs really, like so. Then you place your redstone on top of all of the half slabs. Then you get your repeaters out. You need repeaters instead of redstone because if you don't have repeaters, then only this hopper, or only the hopper that the redstone is actually going into, should be powered. As far as I know, if someone can correct me on that, then I'd be welcome to that. I need to test it out, but let's continue. So that's pointing in. For this one, if you want your hoppers going into this, you can't have a redstone repeater because that will send the signal through the dropper and into this, which will lock the hopper. And you don't want that. So what we're going to do is just put another block here so that this redstone will send its signal into the block and power the block behind it only, which is what we want. Now for the simple one-tick pulsar. You want to do this and get a comparator. And notice that this wants to connect with this, so you got to block that off with a solid block. Next, you put your input. This can be... no, this has to be something constant, like a lever. Because you want to give a continuous pulse to make sure that it goes... that all of the droppers are powered until all of your items are in your chest at the top. I'm going to put that there. Now, that said, if you want to put your power source somewhere else, you can wire it however you want. That's fine. And lovely. So, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to have it there. Now, it's done. Really simple. Really simple. Each of these repeaters send a strong signal into the droppers, which powers the blocks adjacent to it, which means on the sides and below it. So you can't have it really next to each other. Although I have to test that. I need to test to see how many you can have next to each other. Although I probably, personally, wouldn't want more than one of these right next to each other, because since it's sending out updates so quick, oops, and that shows what it does if you don't have it on subtraction mode. So you set it to subtraction, and then it'll update. I'm not sure how much lag this will cause on a server, so you might want to keep this to your single-player worlds until you confirm that it doesn't completely destroy the thing. But yeah, there you have it. You can hook this up to your system, to your hopper system, put your lily pads in, your wheat, whatever you're transporting, send it in, and let it go. When it goes silent, actually with the longer things it'll probably click, but if you have it just like this, it's kind of cool. I noticed that when you have items in the system still, it goes silent until they're all up at the very top, and then it'll start clicking again. It's pretty cool. But clearly, the hoppers go much slower than these droppers do, so you're still hearing the clicks. Then you go and turn off your item elevator, and all of your lily pads are at the top. Now, let's cut away, and I'll show you a practical application for this. Alright everybody, we are here at my fully automatic farm. Oh, it looks like all the wheat is ready to be harvested. As you can see, there are no crops in here, but when I activate this, tons of lag happens, and then all of our crops go into hoppers, which go straight to the teeny tiny item elevator, straight into this crop bin. Then when that stops, you can deactivate your automatic farm. Oops, looks like I took one. Collect your seeds, plant, and start all over again. And all this is just using the hoppers the hoppers to transport into these droppers. This dropper gets both of these droppers get powered by this one-tick pulsar when the power is on, which sends it straight up only 2 blocks right into this chest, which is arguably just as much height as you need in most cases. From here, you can send it to another, more intricate item elevator that sends it up to your central storage, or whatever you want. So, I hope this has been useful to you, and I hope that you're able to use it at some point in the future, because I think it's pretty cool. And, as always, have a nice day, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!